ringing.
Yep, I hear it.
Way off.
Way off in the distance. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that means it sounds good. I just can't get a picture.
I'm sorry about that. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get rolling. So this week we'll talk about, we'll pick up right after the scripture that I preached on Sunday and work our way all the way to close to the end of Acts chapter 4. Not all the way there. So what questions either questions came up in your class this past week that you may need to have answered, or what questions have come up in your reading this week to get ready for your next class?
Believe it or not, we did not have any questions other than if you can, and I know putting it down in writing is not something you want to do, but speaking in tongues, I took back as good as I could what came back to me with. Okay, but if there's anything you can put in writing about speaking in tongues versus different language, babble.
Okay. I'll see what I can find.
Okay.
Ted, you doing all right today?
Yeah, done fine.
Good. All right. Very good. So, Ted, I had just kind of set it up with if there were questions from your previous session that you needed help, to go back to your group with, or if there were questions that you had from the readings this week to get ready for your next session.
Yeah, I'm fine. I read through it and I'm pretty well satisfied. So if anyone else has anything, I'll be glad to listen in.
All right. So this week we hear from Peter a couple of times. First of all, in the rest of Acts chapter 3, we hear him preaching to the crowd still. This is his second sermon. And he's pointing directly to their history, the Israelite history, to say, hey, this is what, God said would happen, and you missed it, essentially. And he's, he keeps going back to that the name of Jesus is the one that heals. He calls again for repentance. And let's see. Where else am I? So we switch to chapter 4. And then, so in chapter 4 begins the persecutions, where the Sadducees and the elders and the priests and the captains of the guard, that's the police there. They are annoyed because he's preaching resurrection from the dead. And that annoys the Sadducees specifically because they don't believe in the resurrection from the dead. Their main way of looking at life is that when your body dies, that's it. There's nothing else, neither good nor bad. So there's no concept of an afterlife whatsoever for Sadducees. But even in the midst of that persecution, more and more people, 5,000 more people, find their way to Christ. So there's that. So then Thursday's reading from the 24th, that's the text I'm going to preach on for Sunday morning. And this is Peter and John before the Sanhedrin, the rulers, elders, and scribes. They bring out all the big guns here, and they ask him, by what power, by what name did you do this? And Peter gets a fresh filling of the Holy Spirit and proclaims the good news right in front of the people who could send him off to jail or worse. And he proclaims that there's salvation in no one else. So I spent some time on that. And then they are amazed, and they realize that they're ordinary men, and that they've been with Jesus, and they have nothing to say. So they just send them out, and then they give them a stern wagging of the finger.
Mhm.
And they're like, don't do that anymore. Now get out of here. And then they go do it again.
That's kind of an amazing thing that, that you can see at the beginning that the Christian movement was not really taken that seriously by the leaders, And they thought they could just intimidate someone into shutting up.
Sure. And it'll come back again in chapter 5, where in chapter 5, they get a little bit more than a wagging of the finger.
Yeah.
But yeah, even though, they've got like about 5,000, about 3,000, there were 120 to start. So you're talking like 9,000 people-ish around there that have, become part of this movement. And I don't know what the population of Jerusalem was or of Israel was.
Question, I'm very disappointed.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. So I don't know what kind of percentage that is of the total population, but obviously they're getting some kind of attention from the religious authorities because of the location of where they're doing these things. They're in the temple. They're on the Solomon's portico, and they're right around the Temple Mount. And people are turning their lives over to Christ. So what's at stake for the Jewish religious authorities is that it's their influence, it's their clout, it's their way of life, essentially, especially the priests. Because the Levitical priests don't have any inheritance. They're not listed as one of the tribes that gets land. They eat because there are animal sacrifices. They have things to drink because there are wine offerings and drink offerings, and so that's how they subsist. So the priests, if less people are now going, hey, let's go make some sacrifices and make some offerings, then that cuts into their pantry, so to speak. But then if more and more people are following after this Jesus guy, then that means they're losing, that the religious authorities are losing their clout within, not all the way yet, but they're losing their clout in the community. So there you go. All right.
Well, I have a question about the first 3,000 and then 5,000 that were converted. On the day of Pentecost, you discussed last week, I think, Pentecost is a festival, a harvest festival, and there were lots of people from outside of Jerusalem there at that time to do sacrifices.
Right.
So it follows that a goodly number of the 3,000 certainly would have been of these people. And so to my mind, a lot of these people shortly would have left to go back to their homes, but they would have been a great feeding out into the rest of the area to kind of set things up for the apostles when they did begin to spread out into the other areas. And I didn't know if the Bible refers to that sort of thing anywhere, but it seems like wherever they go, there are people who are ready to believe, ready to start. So to my mind, that was another result of Pentecost, of doing it on Pentecost when there were so many people from outside that would then go back home with this word in their heart.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Parthians, Medes, Elamites, Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia. I mean, Egypt, Crete, Rome. I mean, they represent essentially the known world at that point. And that's exactly what they do, is that if they hear the good news on Pentecost and they're transformed, and then they return to their homes, they travel back then was a little bit slower. I mean, even though Pentecost was a one-day festival, more than likely they spent several weeks or a month or so in Jerusalem, either leading up to or including and after the festival. So, and for longer festivals like Passover, which is, a whole week, then they would have probably prepared, for being gone from their home for months. Just the travel alone would have taken that long. So, but then, yes, they would take those seeds back to those particular places and then begin to talk about all of that. And then here comes Paul, and here comes Barnabas, and here comes Timothy and Titus and all these guys out into Asia Minor. And yeah, the ground had already been plowed for them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, James.
Hey, how are you doing?
We're doing well.
Good.
We're just talking through text for this coming weekend and seeing if there were any questions that you had. Oh, wait, that's right. You're not teaching this week.
That's right.
My wife is.
Where's Debbie? She's supposed to be on this call.
Oh, is she? Yeah. She's wrangling kiddos to make sure they go to school.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Got a at-home school still?
Yeah, they're still online.
Oh, wow.
We got to decide tomorrow what we're doing.
Deadline.
Yep, that's
Hard.
the deadline.
Hard decision.
Mm-hmm. So were there any, James, were there any unanswered questions from your previous lesson that you needed to report back to them on?
No, I think last week's lesson went fairly well. I left an open-ended question at the very end. Is it possible for us to do what Peter did at the beautiful gate?
Mm-hmm.
And I left it for folks to ponder and think about over the week.
Right. Yeah, my wife's been pondering that.
Yeah, I know. She told me. Yeah. I did have a question about today's reading. Just one of the questions.
Sure.
Your second question here. What is at stake if Peter claims authority to heal the man sitting outside the beautiful gate? Are you talking about Peter claiming that that it would be his power, or what?
Right. Yes, that's what I'm saying is what's at stake if he goes, yeah, that was me that did that, rather than putting the emphasis back on the fact that it was Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
We're going through the Acts for Everyone, and we got a little ahead of ourselves, I guess, by reading yesterday, because I think you chopped it up into two pieces, and Wright had it all
included.
Yeah.
The way that the readings happened is because those are paragraphs, and so they just got divided up into paragraphs. In my particular Bible, it doesn't always line up with everybody's Bible.
Right.
So.
This is the first time I've ever been ahead in the reading.
Oh, look at you! Mark
Just
this
one day. Just one day.
That's fine.
I know we're supposed to be like a week ahead, but
yeah, do what you can do.
Yeah.
Some people are a little slow, right, James?
I read very slowly. Yes. If anybody's ever been to my class, it took us probably 2 years to go through Luke.
Yeah.
So
There's other things to do.
we go slow.
Goodness. Very good. Gary, you got anything you need to ask about?
I don't think so. We, during the class period this last time, we didn't even get off onto any of the extra resource information I had. We spent most of our time on the questions in the book.
Okay.
And everybody seemed to feel comfortable with the answers that we came up with. So, and everybody seems to be enjoying the material.
Good. All right. So I want to give you a heads up about something that was brought to my attention on, what day is today? Today's Thursday. On Tuesday night at Ad Council, when I talked about the regathering plan. So the question was asked about Sunday school classes that are currently meeting on Sunday morning, and how if we have live stream at 9 and a live stream at 11:15, if there's a class that meets somewhere around 10 o'clock, how do they need to handle that? And my answer was that that's something that y'all will need to figure out together. If there's adjustment to the calendar that needs to happen. I can tell you that the worship services will be about 45 minutes long. So the 9 o'clock service should be done by 9:45, and the 11:15 service should be done by noon. If that makes anything easier for you.
Well, we're currently meeting at 10 o'clock. And when I posed the question to the class, when we started back up with the Zooms, that seems to be the big majority of when people wanted to meet was 10 o'clock.
Sure.
Now, I plan to bring this subject up on Sunday with our class, and first off, see how many of them will be participating in the live service.
Right.
If no one is, we can just continue the way we're doing.
Right.
But if a few of them want to do that, someone in that group of live people is going to have to step up to the bar and commit to grabbing a laptop, one of the churches or their own, and taking it to the classroom and setting it up ahead of time so that it can be connected and ready to go at 10 o'clock in between the services.
All right.
Does that sound reasonable?
Let me think. So you want somebody to be at church?
Well, if they want to be in the classroom in between services at 10 o'clock, if everybody wants to continue meeting at 10, and so someone is going to have to step up and say, well, I'm willing to make sure a computer is there and ready and on the Zoom at 10 o'clock in the classroom, so that the people in the classroom and us at home can all be part of the class.
I see.
Well,
I'll just.
Question. Is anybody more than 15 minutes away from the church?
Yeah, probably. That would be a tough run for a lot of people, to get out and not talk to people, just get out the door and in your car and down the road and home time for 10 o'clock. The other option is to change to another day or later in the day on Sunday or something like that. So we'll see what they say.
I thought we weren't gathering in our rooms or anybody upstairs.
So that's what I was going to say is that.
Then we don't have. Okay. We've got
right. So we won't be able to do that until a little bit later in the process. So the first
times then. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you though.
That's okay.
I thought I missed something, Ted.
No. So a new option will be available when we start regathering, is that you can meet on site here at a pre-scheduled time. So if you're like Gary's class has already approached me about coming on site and meeting under the portico. And as long as you schedule it through the church office and make sure that nobody else is going to be there at that particular time, then you can do that. So that may be an option for you. If you want to do some kind of in-person deal, with, socially distant around the deal, around the portico, or, while it's nice outside, you don't even have to be under the shade unless you want to. But that option becomes available once we move back into in-person worship. But no, we can't use classrooms upstairs during this first phase. Once we get back into having Sunday school, then that'll be available. And we're looking at about a month or so, depending on how things go, to bring that back.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the live streaming for the service, is that bottom line they have to watch it at 9 or at 11:15 or?
Yes. So the live stream will actually be live as to what's going on in the room. They will be recorded and then archived. So they should be available to watch on demand, hopefully Monday afternoon at the latest. So while they're being streamed, they'll be recorded, and then we'll cut the ends off and then post it on the website. So,
just so I get it right, Sunday services, if they want to watch them on Sunday, it's 9 o'clock or 11:15.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Okay.
Right, and if you can join it at any point in time, but you won't be able to like scrub back to the beginning and watch. It really will be live. So if you show up at 9:30, you'll get
you missed a bit.
You'll miss quite a bit. You'll see me waving my hands up there, going, "Hey, look at me, I'm talking," because that's about 9:30 or so. That's when I start talking. Anyway, so yes, it will be a live experience, but it will be archived and they can watch it.
I wonder if there's a way to record it while you're watching.
What do you mean? Like on our end?
No, on our end.
Oh. I am not that tech savvy, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there is. I'm not sure, but I think there is on FaceTime live stream. I think there is.
Anyway,
Interesting.
So yeah. Anyway, that was the sort of some of the details about the regathering stuff is the video that I was recording this morning. So that'll go. I'll put that out this afternoon for everybody. And then in a couple of weeks, I'll do a walkthrough so that you can see what the space looks like and where your chairs aren't anymore. Sorry. No, there will be chairs, but they may not be exactly in the same spaces.
Do we know yet how the reservation process is going to work?
Yes. So there will be, so right on the homepage where you go to click to watch worship now, there will be an additional button that says make a reservation or RSVP for worship, and you will click that, and it will take you to into our church software, ACS, and you will it'll verify that you have an account or let you set up an account. And then once you do that, then you tell us which service you want to go to and how many people will be with you and an email address that we can get in touch with you with, and you hit submit and you'll be ready to go. The picture, it sounds like I'm doing the announcements. Anyway, if anybody that is part of your class, if this happens, so we're capping it at 65 RSVPs. If you happen to be like 66 or 67, you'll get a message that says, we're sorry that the service is full, but that person, anybody that tries to register for a full service will get priority to register for next week's service for the one that they want. So if you want to come to the 9 o'clock service on the 18th, let's say, but by the time you get in there and make your reservation, it's already full, then you'll have priority to sign up for the 25th for the one that you want. And that'll all be explained on the website when that happens. So yeah, that's.
When,
But the
when will that be up on the page, on the
So-
webpage?
right. So for the 11th, the page will be live on the 1st of October. Subsequent to that, it'll be Monday. So Monday the 12th, registration will go live for the 18th, and then it just follows that pattern. So Mondays will be the first day that you can register for the next Sunday, other than the 11th, which will go live on the 1st. And I talk about that in the video that'll drop this afternoon. And I'll talk about it again in the video that'll come out right before worship starts.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so there'll be 65 RSVPs available for both the 9 o'clock and the 11:15 service. And then we leave, since 75 is our capacity, we leave 10 spots available for folks who either are guests and didn't know they needed an RSVP, or folks that don't have the technology available to go and do that. So we'll have that.
I'm very impressed by your tech talk here. You're dropping a video. Ooh.
Right. Yep. I've been so immersed in tech culture for the last 7 months that it's not even funny. It's like I watched more videos on how to do church online and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy.
That's exactly how I learned to work on my car.
Hey Ted.
YouTube.
Hey Ted, has Travis and heard anything about the Metro District yet? About them being able to come back?
They're starting back, I think the same time we are. I'm not sure. Something
Okay.
like
The bishop made mention of that at annual conference over the weekend, that he was going to talk with the Metro District churches. So I wasn't sure. I hadn't heard what he had said to them.
Yeah.
Very good.
I know Travis has mentioned that he's very excited about it.
Good.
You know, and we're very scared for him. So
Yeah.
James, I just checked, and there is a way to record the FaceTime. It says it's really easy, but the way it's not exactly a FaceTime feature that you're using. It's more of a Windows feature, so it may be a little more complicated than you think, but it is possible.
Were you YouTubing while we were talking, Ted? Is that?
Well, I didn't YouTube. I just popped over to Google and did a Google on it. And,
Oh, okay.
even
Cool.
videos. There's YouTube videos that show you how to do it. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's how anybody younger than 20 figures out how to do stuff.
That's right.
What does YouTube have to say?
Yep.
There you go.
Even old
It's coming
guys like
Yeah, it comes in handy. Comes in handy. Very good. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, then I will leave you with my blessings. And if anything comes up between now and then, let me know. Sandy, I'll see what I can find out about tongues and other languages,
Okay,
and
appreciate
I
it.
will get you some things to look at.
Okay,
right.
great.
Thank you for what you do. Appreciate all of you, and God bless you.
God bless.
Thank
See you
you.
again soon.
Everybody have a blessed week.
Thanks, Gary.
Bye.
Alrighty.
Bye-bye.